Okay, Calc kids, October 1st, we've got some notes for you. Sorry I can't be in class, but instead you got the next best thing, which is me on the screen instead of me in face-to-face. Not only that, I get to teach you without my mask on. It's a good day today. So let's take a look at what we're doing here. Okay, section 1.4b, rates of change, tangent lines, and sensitivity. Me teaching sensitivity. That's kind of funny. So a little review. Remember slope of a curve. We're doing a secant line. That's between P and Q, but we're making it, Q is getting closer and closer to P. Okay, that means our H distance here is approaching 0, and that leads us to our slope, the curve equation. The slope is the limit as H approaches 0 of f of A plus H minus f of A divided by H. So nothing is new there. Okay, nothing's changed. Remember all the different ways to say slope of a curve. Okay, and the biggest one is number 4 here when we do that limit. The fraction part is just called the difference quotient. Okay, so is it any different when you talk about velocity? No, except now we're finding instantaneous velocity or an instantaneous rate of change. That's how fast you're going at one instant. Okay, instead of 2 points, like at 2 and 2.001, we can find exactly what it is at the point at 2, okay, when t equals 2. So now we talk about sensitivity. What the heck is that? Let's talk about crops. The crop yield depends upon the rainfall. So how much of a rainfall do we need to make a big increase in our crop yield? That's where we're talking about sensitivity. Better yet, let's talk about drugs. Okay, let's say you're taking aspirin. Are you going to prescribe the same amount of aspirin for a 300-pound person as you would a 30-pound kid? No. Okay, so the small increase in the amount of drug will lower the temperature a small amount. So we're talking about changing. That's what we talk about sensitivity. Okay, so what is that? That's delta T, the change in temperature, divided by the change in dosage as the dosage goes towards 0. That's what we mean by sensitivity, how one variable responds to a small change in another variable. That's what we call about sensitivity. Same thing, okay? So sensitivity is just an extenuation or extension of what we have been doing before. Now, we haven't done a fraction yet. So let's try one. So y equals 1 over t at t equals 2. So we want to find the slope of this function or this equation at 2, at t equals 2. So there's our formula right there. So let's go ahead and put in t plus h. What is that? Well, that's going to be f of 2 plus h. So 1 over 2 plus h, okay, that's f of t plus h, minus 1 over 2, because we just put 2 in for that t right there, all divided by h. The limit of that is h approaches 0. So we got a nice fraction up here. Now we can't say, oops, we can't do it because we're dividing by 0. Let's see if we can do some math so we can actually do the math and not divide by 0. So let's find the common denominator. So what's common between 2 plus h and 2? Well, 2 and 2 plus h. So I'm going to take this first fraction and times it by 2. I'm going to take this second fraction and multiply it by the 2 plus h. Okay? If I do a little bit of math here, I get 2 on the top part minus 2 minus h. I have to distribute that negative sign through there. That's where a lot of people make a mistake. All over our common denominator of 2 plus h. Well, what is 2 minus 2? That's 0. So if we go to the next page, I'll give you this. So the 2 minus 2 cancel each other out. Now, instead of saying divided by h, I said times 1 over h. So dividing by a whole number is the same as multiplying by its fraction. That's what we did right here. And whoa, look what happens. We can finally get rid of that h down here with that h here. They divide out or they cancel out. So what are we left with? So we've got negative 1 over 2 times the quantity 2 plus h. Now I can put in 0 for h. Before I couldn't do it because then we would divide by 0, but now I can do it and we don't divide by 0. So what is the slope of that equation at x or at t equals 2? Negative 1/4. Okay? That's how you do fractions. Now, you may have a couple of those in your homework, but I wanted to make sure we went over it at least once so you remember how to do fractions, how to add or subtract fractions on here. Okay? So, your homework assignment is a worksheet. Okay? A few problems listed there, and we'll get that handed out to you. Good luck. If you have some questions, you can get a hold of me. No problem. Otherwise, we're done. So thanks, guys. We'll see you in a little while. And I'm going to stop it right here.